So by now, I'm assuming anybody watching this has seen the new ban list that's effective as of today, May 17th. Um, I've already seen it. I'm not going to pretend I haven't and do a reaction video. I will tell you, I just about died laughing when I saw Change of Heart was back to one. Instead, I'm just going to do a bit of an analysis about the list. Uh, and we're going to start with these three here. I know just highlighted everything. But Auroradon, Meowmoo, and Verte. Now, these three I think I actually had on my list as being banned. And it's about time for. I think Auroradon has been a target before. Verte has been a target for months, if not at least a year. And Meowmoo was the hit that people were looking for prank kids. Now, for Auroradon, with them hitting Auroradon, Red Rose Dragon, where is it? Shooting Riser. Hitting those is really, I think, them taking a shot at the pile decks. Just at decks that aim to use the adventure engine to like spam out a bunch of synchros, which kind of fell off the radar lately, so this hits a little late, but I can see where they were going with it. Auroradon also enables just some like generic shenanigans. If anybody's a fan of MBT's channel, since day one, he's been labbing or playing different, just like Auroradon turbo decks that have never been crazy, but it's still like a really generic plan that a deck can run through to get multiple negates on board. Meowmoo, at least as far as I'm concerned, basically kills prank kids. It's still going to be around. There's still going to be people that want to play it, but it's not going to be the go-to adventure engine anymore. Because it's not going to have that one card starter anymore. The deck is back to relying on opening like Poly, Pandemonium, I think is their fusion spell, or like instant fusion to get their plays really rolling, which makes the deck a lot less consistent. Now, what the new adventure deck is going to be is up in the air. I am kind of curious to see where it goes because it definitely does have options. Like, there's still ways to play good stuff, even without like Verte or Auroradon. People will still make generic pile combo decks. But regardless, this is probably the last format we're gonna see prank kids like in the spotlight as like a tier 1 threat. Verte, goodbye. I have a lot of thoughts on this card. Something that I talked to a friend about recently was that I think with the banning of this card, we'll see a lot less like DPE and even branded decks using those as like a plan B. Not being able to just generically go into a DPE or go into a Mirror Jade and having to actually draw the fusion spell makes things completely different for a deck. Like coming from somebody that just came back, that just played in a regional where DPE and branded were plans B and C respectively for the deck, I was playing them mostly because I could get to them easily through Verte. Without him there, or her, I don't know, it's a plant. Without the plant being there, it's not as splashable as it used to be. So I do think things like DPE and the branded engines are going to become a lot less prominent moving forward. So that was actually all for the bans, which I'm kind of fine with. Like, I guess we'll see what Scythe and Dagda do in this format. I do think they're pushing us towards more of a control format, hitting combo machines like Auroradon and backup plans like Verte. Um, so Scythe might become a bit of an issue again, but I guess we'll see where things go. As far as the limits, Jet Synchron coming back is fine. I am curious to see what Synchron as a deck can do in the TCG with a single jet. Going by MBT's used to be the Moron Banlist tournament. I think he's renamed it to the Masochist Banlist tournament. The last one was actually won by Synchron, and the only thing that it got out of his list was a single jet Synchron. So I am curious to see what shenanigans this causes. Otherwise, it's just a generic extender. It is a one card Hulk of Fibrax, but they put Hulk to 1. So, not that many decks were running more than one Hulk. I guess I can see where they would want to make sure that you can't like go into a second one the next turn if your play gets stopped. Monkey board to 1, I think they're really pushing the limits of like pendulum stuff that can come off the list without giving us back Electromite. I can understand trying to push pendulums with Beyond the Pendulum coming out officially later this week. But Astrograph is still at 1. They just gave us 1 monkey board. What is even left for pendulums banned besides Electromite? I guess Kieran counts. Plush Fire is there. And then I think it's just the Starving Venom Dragon. Would really be the stuff that Pendulum would need to really be full power again. Yeah, I'm curious to see what Pendulum does with 1 monkey board, 1 Astrograph. I think we have 3 Skullcrabats again. Red Rose Dragon to 1, like I said earlier. Same with Shooting Riser to 1. I think it's just a hit towards those like pile combo decks that just aim to put up multiple synchros, multiple negates. Yada to 1 is fantastic. I did have to have it pointed out to me that he is a fiend and not a winged beast for some reason. So my hopes of searching him off of Shureg are dashed, and I am sad. But I don't think 1 Yada is going to accomplish too much. He's not super searchable. I think Fiendish Rhino Warrior might be able to send him, but I think Fiendish might have to send a Dark Fiend. Don't quote me on that. I'm going off the top of my head here. But yeah, I think Yada to 1 will be fine. Say Hulk to 1, like I mentioned earlier, they don't want somebody going through their combo turn 1, getting stopped on the Hulk, and then just going through it again turn 3. That's really all that is. Shooting Riser, I guess, is also just like a Foolish Burial. So you can send like Fairy Tale Snow, Necro World Banshee, basically just whatever you want in the like to the graveyard. And honestly, a lot of those cards that you're sending are level 4, which just happen to line up with what synchros you were trying to make. Change of Heart to 1 is probably my favorite hit I've seen since I've come back to the game. I have to like do a little digging to remember what the difference really is between Change of Heart and Mind Control. Because I think they're both only until the end of the turn, but I think Mind Control has certain limits that Change of Heart doesn't. Regardless, I don't think it's going to do anything. it's going to be a powerful one of, but it's kind of in the same vein as mind control. You just steal your opponent's monster and use it for like a link summon or something. It I don't really think it's going to do too much to affect the format. And time seal, I keep skipping over. It's not going to do anything, especially at 1. You what are you going to skip your opponent's like third draw? It'll probably be back to 3 within the next couple of lists. As far as the semi limits, Dynamite Knight, I guess is fine. I don't want to see more True Draco players, but I guess as long as Diagram is gone, we're fine. Ben 10-2 is probably just Libromancer support, trying to push the ritual deck. With Ava Band, it's not the worst thing in the world. Tanky to 2, I'm glad to see. I think Tanky at 2 is fine, especially with no Barrage, no Trident. It can make Lunalights a little more consistent, Tri-Brigade a little more consistent. And honestly, neither deck is a problem right now. Putting Desires back to 2, cool. You can still Desires into Desires. You just can't do it into 2 of them. Fun. Honestly, I don't really think it's going to change too much. People might start playing it again, especially in stuff like Sword Soul. Light Stage to 2, it's about time. I think we're past the point of like Dragoon Turbo, Hulk Turbo. Wall revealing Light to 2 is a little scary. Granted, a lot of the ways that you're removing monsters nowadays isn't by battle, but the fact that somebody can just like get through your negates, and then when you go to battle, to flip this and pay like 3K or 4K to just negate your battle, like end your turn when it could have been game. I don't think it's going to have a big impact, but I could definitely see it getting some form of play for stuff like Mystic Mine players, which is a card that's not on the list again. Night Assailant to 3 with the errata is fine. Nobody's making triple Trishula. Mirage Stalio and Circle to 3 was actually part of my wish list. Really, the only thing left is Gazelle, and that deck will be back at full power, which I think that deck at full power would be perfectly fine. Shiggy's is currently messing around with DP Salamangreat, although I'm not sure how. I haven't seen her build, so I don't know if it relies on Verte to get to him or not. Hero Lives to 3 is fine. Go ahead and pay half your life points for an Ash Blossom. And Scapegoat to 3 again. It's not going to affect anything. Probably the most meta-relevant play I can think of that doesn't require half your extra deck is 4 Scapegoat tokens making a Sure Egg. Which again, funny, not good. But yeah, I don't know how much this is going to warp the format. It is going to eliminate like the Verte and the Halcdon shenanigans. First, I did face like a Sword Soul player that was running Halcdon combos at the regional. Not having Verte means that you can't just splash DPE and brand it into anything. So we'll see a lot less of that. But considering that right now half the format is like branded, I don't think that's really going to change because they can search all their stuff regardless. This will give. I'm glad the list came out now and not after Hartford. I can't make it to Hartford, but I'd rather not see a YCS and its results effectively negated because of a ban list hitting immediately after it. I'd rather see a YCS played under a new list with new decks that people can use as like a preparation for what's essentially nationals this year. regardless, this list actually has me pretty excited. I'm about to start diving into my decks and see what I can put together for locals this weekend. Because as of right now, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I'm off to go take care of that. Have a great one.